So today I'm going to be talking about these steps to take to become a solo esthetician. I have all my little notes written in my journal, so I'm going to be reading off them. Once you're fresh out of school, you just passed your state boards and got your license, you have two options, and that is to go work somewhere or go solo straight out of school. There is pros and cons obviously to both. For example, and I feel like going solo straight out of school sounds super glamorous, but there is some negatives to it. Like you lack experience, so it can be a little bit harder, maybe have like learning curve. There's not really steady income in the beginning, and it can be quite hard to build your clientele. But of course it's really rewarding, and that's what I chose to do. So once you decide you want to go solo and have your own business, I think the first thing is, I guess, working on branding. So that means picking things like a name, a logo, your colors, your whole mood, and like really set out the vision for what you'd like to see your business grow into. Obviously, most well known is Canva for doing things like this, to really help you pick a font, logo, kind of put it all together. After that, some things to think about is like your uniform. So you have different options. You can kind of go the scrubs route, which I feel is like really professional, gives a more medical look. You can also just go with traditional nice clothing, like, you know, cute outfits, dresses, that kind of thing. Still looks professional, cute, just gives off a different vibe. The only thing that I would say to maybe avoid, and I feel like this might be a little controversial, is I don't really like it seeing like sweatpants and comfortable clothing. Not that you have to be uncomfortable at work, just try not to look sloppy. And once you kind of set the vibe and vision for your brand, you have your name, your logo, all that kind of stuff, then you can go ahead and make your socials, like your Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I would recommend connecting your Instagram and Facebook. Kills two birds with one stone, makes it a lot easier. Then next, you're gonna get into legals and finances. Most people, when they first start, have an LLC, which you can easily file by yourself online. You can literally just look it up on Google. Once your business is its own separate entity, you can go ahead and take that paperwork and go open a business account. You really wanna keep your business money in one area and keep that separate from your personal. And you will use that to pay for bills, supplies, all that kind of stuff. Anything that's considered business expenses, you will take, you know, whatever portion you want for yourself and put it over here into your personal account. Do not mix your money. It will be a big mess when it comes to tax time. It just makes things a lot easier to just see exactly what you're spending and exactly what your tax write-offs are. Another tip is when you're just starting out, if you obviously don't have an accountant or CPA yet, you can do all the bookkeeping yourself with QuickBooks. It's really easy. Once you have all your legal and financial stuff set up, then you can start looking for a location or deciding where you want to be. That can either be home-based or in a suite. These both have pros and cons. You know, at home, obviously, you're going to be saving money. It's a little bit more convenient for you, but you also have to understand that might be a turnoff for some clients for safety reasons. Also think about your own personal safety reasons. But then same thing with a suite, you know, you're going to be spending more money right away, but to some clients that might come off more professional. Plus, it is a bit safer than having people come in and out of your home. So really just assess how you want to start off. There is no right or wrong answer. Really just think about the benefits and the negatives, and for your specific situation, which one makes more sense. And to add on to legalities, once you do decide where you're going to be, whether it's home-based or in a salon suite, make sure that you're filing with state board to have either a mini salon license or an at-home salon license, and that you're following all the compliance, because even if you're working out of your home, there still is regulations that need to be followed, and you don't want to get in trouble with your state board because that could be a big fine and really hurt your business. Now, once you pick where you're going to be, whether it's suite or at home, then you want to start looking into things like a booking site and a POS system. Now, typically these things are two in one. I feel like the three most popular that I see is Square, Vagaro, and Gloss Genius. I'm pretty familiar with Square and Vagaro, and I honestly love both of them. I've used Square when I first started, and I believe they have a free option. I'm not sure if they still do. And I believe they also give you a free small credit card processing plugin to your cell phone, so you can take payments that way. And the only reason I made the switch from Square to Vagaro is because I did transition into medical aesthetics, and Vagaro has EMR. I really like both. I've used both. I think they're great. The only one I'm not really familiar with is Gloss Genius, but I do see a lot of beauty providers use that as well. And typically when you start with one of these companies, they'll kind of give you more info on their POS systems, which POS just means point of sale, which is just how you check your people out. This is something I would really recommend, especially if you're going to be in a suite, not to accept only cash. I just feel like it can be a little inconvenient for people. So I feel like that's kind of a plus for clients to be able to book with you and know that they have the convenience of Apple Pay, credit card paying, or whatever, instead of having to pull out cash every time. So once you create your account with Square, Vagaro, or whoever you choose, then you can start working on consent forms. You can find a lot of templates through Google or Etsy. You can also make your own. On consent forms, you always want to be very thorough, as well as like client intake forms, so questionnaires like, you know, asking about allergies, medications, that kind of stuff, regardless of what type of services you're going to be offering, whether that's waxing, skin, lashes. You just want to make sure you're covered in that aspect. Again, I know Etsy has some that you can pay for, but if you're looking to save a little money, you can always just try to find some templates on Google. After that, you can start working on putting in your services and deciding your pricing. A little tip for deciding your prices is to calculate how much things are going to cost you. What are your bills and what are your costs to perform the service? And then you can also look around at other providers in your area just to get an idea of what the going rate for the service in your area is. And once you get your service and pricing entered in, you can also work on things like your policies, like cancellation policy. Next step is picking out your equipment, getting your supplies together. That's like back bar, retail, all that kind of stuff. When you're first starting out, you might want to even consider using your school kit just because it's something you already have and it's something you're familiar with. For things like disposables, 4x4s, headbands, lash spoolies, wax sticks, anything like that, I would definitely consider Amazon, just because it's quick, cheap, and you might not need to be buying in large bulk yet if you're not having as many clients in the beginning. They also have great options on Amazon for things like beds, lights. Now, a couple little tips if you are performing skin services. Some of the companies that I like are Face Reality, Glymed, SkinScript. I think they're great for baby SDs. I know Face Reality does charge up front for their certification to be able to use their products and become a professional, but I think it's definitely worth the investment. I really enjoyed their course. I think it's super helpful, especially for baby SDs, learning how to treat acne and different skin conditions. On top of that, their products are actually really decently priced, especially when you're starting out and you want to carry back bar as well as retail. Now for waxing, a website I would definitely check out that I think has decently priced wax is Spa Order. I believe they have other things too, like pre and post care, that kind of stuff. Mermaid wax is another option. I do feel like that is a little pricey for beginner SDs, but just something to check out. I also like Zandyland for retail and back bar if you're going to be doing waxing services. Now, once you have everything ready to go, it is time to market yourself. Of course, social media is probably the most important form of marketing, especially at this time. So I think Instagram, obviously number one. And even though TikTok is worldwide, if you put your location, you can definitely get tons of clients that way. My biggest tip is do not be shy to show your face, to get on and make content showing yourself. Also, talking in front of the camera, I know it can be really scary, but it definitely gives a sense of trust to clients. That way they don't feel like they're booking with a stranger. Of course, before and afters are super important as well. So in the beginning, I would definitely recommend maybe reaching out to friends, family, maybe free or discounted services in exchange for photos and content, and use that opportunity to take as many photos, videos, any content you can, and try to make as many videos out of that as you can. You can also do things like referral programs, maybe $5 off for referrals. You can also do things like loyalty punch cards. I think those get people to come back pretty frequently, especially if you're doing things like waxing or nails or something like that. Maybe even think about doing something like a bring a friend discount. Instead of one person in, it'll bring two. You could also consider partnering with other SDs. Maybe you do skin services and you partner with somebody who does nails or lashes, and you can just cross promote each other. If you guys would like a separate video of me going really in depth on SD marketing or marketing in the beauty business, let me know. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to share as much information as I could, but if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them down below.